My name is Vanessa Ashford. I'm 29 years old. And until recently, I thought healthy relationships simply required compromise. Turns out, compromise only works when both people are playing by the same rules. At the time, I had been with my boyfriend, Ethan Mercer, who was 27, for 3 years. We'd lived together, for most of our relationship. Weekends were simple. Movie nights. Trying new restaurants. Occasionally, spending time with friends. Then about 6 months ago, everything changed. It started when Ethan's ex-girlfriend, Destiny Carter, finalized her divorce. Suddenly, Ethan became part of what he called supporting a friend. Girls' nights became every Friday and Saturday. Except they weren't dinners. They weren't quiet gatherings. They were clubs. Leaving at 10 at night. Coming home at 4 in the morning. Expensive outfits. Ladies' nights. VIP section. And stories that slowly started making me uncomfortable. Some guy bought our table. A promoter got us backstage. You should have seen all the jealous people watching us. At first, I ignored it. People deserve fun. People deserve friends. But then I saw Belle's Instagram story. There was Ethan, grinding against some random woman. Not accidental dancing. Not crowded club proximity. Full body contact. I waited until the next morning. Hey, I said carefully. I saw Belle's story. He froze. What about it? Honestly. It made me uncomfortable. Instead of understanding, he frowned. Are you stalking my friends now? I'm not stalking anyone. It popped up. It was dancing. Vanessa. I'm not comfortable watching my boyfriend grind on strangers. It means nothing. Then came the phrase I would hear over and over again. God. You're so controlling. I stared at him. I'm controlling because I don't like seeing my boyfriend pressed against random women. Destiny's ex was controlling too. Look how that ended. I almost laughed. Because somehow his ex-girlfriend's failed marriage had become the answer to everything. The following weekend, he started getting ready again. The outfit looked like something designed specifically to attract attention. I tried one more time. Maybe I could come with you guys sometime. He laughed. It's girls' night. I know. But the whole point is no partners. I don't hate clubs. Ethan. He crossed his arms. If you don't like me going out with my friends, you're controlling. There it was again. Controlling. Toxic. Insecure. Words thrown around so often they had lost all meaning. I looked at him for several seconds. Then I smiled softly. You're right. His face brightened immediately. Really? I'm sorry. He kissed my cheek. See growth. His friend Jocelyn texted him that she'd arrive in 20 minutes. After he left, I sat alone in the apartment. Trust. Interesting word. Because boundaries should work both ways. I downloaded Hinge. Not to cheat. Not because I wanted another man. I wanted perspective. I wanted fairness. I used several photos from our relationship. Beach trips. Pumpkin patches. Family gatherings. I simply cropped Ethan out. My bio read, 29. Marketing manager. Looking for someone who values communication and healthy boundaries. Within an hour, 12 men liked my profile. Saturday night arrived. Ethan was at another club. I was sitting on the couch with Netflix playing when I suddenly froze. One profile had matched with me immediately. Jocelyn, one of Ethan's closest female friends. She sent a message almost instantly. Vanessa, what are you doing on here? I smiled. Working on personal growth? Does Ethan know? I stared at the screen. Then typed, does Ethan tell me everything that happens at the club? No answer. 20 minutes later my phone exploded. Ethan. Calling. I answered calmly. What are you doing on Hinge? Expanding my social circle. You're on a dating app. You're grinding on strangers. That's different. How? It just is. I looked at the clock. Midnight. He was still at the club. I'm literally sitting on our couch watching Netflix. Ethan. Delete the profile. I smiled to myself. That sounds pretty controlling. Silence. Then he hung up. For the first time in months. He came home before 2 a.m. He barely spoke. The next morning, he sat across from me at the kitchen table with screenshots from Destiny, Belle, and Jocelyn spread across his phone, like evidence in a trial. We need to talk about boundaries. I nodded. Great. I agree. His eyes narrowed. You crossed a line. Which line? I asked quietly. The line where I'm supposed to accept strangers touching my boyfriend. Or the line where I'm not allowed to have a social life. He looked genuinely offended. Dating apps are cheating. And grinding on strangers isn't, it's just dancing. And Hinge is just an app. His face darkened. You used our photos. Our memories too. Ethan. He shook his head. You're being petty. I leaned back in my chair. No. I'm being equal. You want to act single every weekend. I held his gaze. Fine. So will I. And that should have been the moment we sat down and behaved like adults. Instead, we went to war. A few days later, Ethan decided to answer my pettiness with pettiness of his own. I came home from work and immediately noticed he was unusually cheerful. Then my phone buzzed. 3 screenshots. Sent by Belle. At first, I thought she was trying to mock me. Then I realized what I was looking at. Ethan had created his own dating profile. Not only that, he had used photos of us together, except this time, he left himself in the pictures and blurred my face. His bio read, recovering from a controlling relationship. Looking for someone secure enough to let me be myself. Below it were dozens of laughing emojis from his friends. Yes, King. Finally free. Go find someone who appreciates you. I sat on the couch and laughed. Not because it was funny, because the whole thing had become ridiculous. Game on. Over the next few days, something unexpected happened. Several women recognized me from Ethan's Instagram. One of them was Rachel. She worked in accounting at his company. Her first message read, "Wait. Are you and Ethan broken up?" I replied carefully. "We're taking some space." Ka. He was literally talking about your anniversary trip last month. Plans change. Word spread through his office, almost immediately. Suddenly, Ethan was getting sympathetic looks. Coworkers asking if he was okay. People whispering. He stormed into our apartment Tuesday night, looking furious. You told everyone we broke up. I told one person we're taking space. You know what people are saying. I shrugged. Apparently rumors travel quickly. You're embarrassing me. I almost laughed. Interesting. Because that's exactly how I felt watching club videos every weekend. I'm not acting single. I raised an eyebrow. No. Then why do random men buy your drinks? It's harmless. And my profile isn't. He didn't answer. Instead, he grabbed his phone. Fine. The next evening, he invited everyone over, Destiny, Belle, Jocelyn, and 2 women I'd never even met before, Tamara and Elise. Apparently, they had all volunteered to save Ethan from his horrible, controlling girlfriend. They sat around my living room like some kind of intervention panel. Destiny spoke first. Vanessa. We're worried about your behavior. My behavior? I asked. Belle nodded dramatically. This dating app thing is manipulative. As opposed to club grinding, it's dancing. And dating apps are for meeting people. Tamara crossed her arms. You're gaslighting him. I blinked. I've known you for approximately 30 seconds. Elise chimed in. You're trying to isolate him. No, I answered calmly. I'm giving him exactly the freedom he requested. Jocelyn suddenly pulled out her phone. If you'll delete your profile, we'll make sure Ethan doesn't cross any lines at clubs. The room became quiet. I slowly looked around. You'll make sure. Nobody spoke. Because they had accidentally admitted something important. Lines existed. Otherwise, there would be nothing to monitor. Ethan stood up. You know what? Keep your profile. His voice shook with anger. I don't care anymore. That night, he updated his bio again. This time it said, in an open relationship, looking for someone who can handle a real man. I stared at the screen in disbelief. The thing was, unlike Ethan, I had been receiving actual messages. Most of them I ignored, but one stood out. Nathan Carter, 31, operations director for a competing marketing company. His profile was refreshingly normal. No shirtless photos. No dramatic quotes. No bitterness. Just hiking pictures. And a smile that looked genuine. His first message made me laugh. "Your boyfriend sounds exhausting." I replied before thinking, I'm still deciding whether he's actually still my boyfriend. Nathan answered immediately, "If you ever make that decision, I know a coffee place with dangerously good cheesecake." I smiled. For some reason, I didn't unmatch him. Thursday arrived. Ethan was preparing for another girls' night, but this time, he seemed distracted. "What's wrong?" I asked. He Sahil, Destiny's boyfriend, found her Tinder profile. I stared. Destiny has a boyfriend. For 2 months. And she's on Tinder. She was only browsing. I almost choked. And he got upset. Totally unreasonable. The irony physically hurt. So girls' night is cancelled. No. Really. Destiny needs support. Of course she did. According to Ethan, every disaster somehow required another night at the club. Before leaving, he turned around. "You're still talking to men on that app, aren't you?" I looked at him. "Would that bother you?" He hesitated. "That's different." Again, always different when it involved him. After he left, I checked Hinge. Nathan had sent another message. "Still surviving. Barely. Coffee, Saturday." I stared at the screen. For a long moment, I thought about saying no, about preserving the relationship, about giving Ethan one more chance. Then, I remembered 6 months of being called controlling, 6 months of being told my feelings didn't matter, 6 months of being the only person making sacrifices. I typed, "Saturday, at 2. Perfect." Meanwhile, Ethan continued dancing through the night, completely convinced I would always be there waiting when he came home. He had no idea that something inside me had already started changing, and neither did I. Friday night changed everything. By then, I wasn't even angry anymore. I was tired. Tired of arguments. Tired of hearing the word controlling. Tired of pretending our relationship was still healthy. Ethan left around 10, as usual. Before closing the door, he smiled. "Don't wait up." I simply nodded. For the first time in 3 years, I didn't feel sad watching him leave. Around midnight, my Instagram notifications exploded. A direct message from someone I didn't know, Trent Lawson. His message was short. "Hey, is this your boyfriend?" Attached below was a video. I opened it. And suddenly, everything became crystal clear. Ethan, at the club, laughing, surrounded by friends, doing tequila body shots off the stomach of a shirtless stranger. I watched the video twice. Then a third time. Oddly enough, I wasn't devastated. I felt relieved. Like finally throwing away milk that had already spoiled. No more confusion. No more excuses. No more wondering if I was overreacting. I screenshotted everything. Then I opened Hinge. I updated my profile photo with a recent picture from the gym. My status now read, "Recently, single." Apparently, I think body shots with strangers are cheating. Weird. I know. A few minutes later, Nathan sent me a message. "So, you made your decision." I smiled sadly. Looks like it was made for me. Coffee tomorrow, still happening. Absolutely. Ethan came home close to 5 in the morning. He wasn't drunk, just energized from another night out. Crazy night. He laughed. Destiny met some promoter who, I handed him my phone. His smile disappeared. He watched the video. Then his face changed colors. "Vanessa." I said nothing. "It isn't what it looks like." I blinked. "It looks like you're licking tequila off a stranger's abs." It was a dare. The girls dared me. It meant nothing. I nodded. "Great. Then you won't mind that I have a coffee date tomorrow." His eyes widened. "A what? A coffee date? You can't do that." I almost laughed. "Why not? We're together." "Are we?" "It was just a game. And Hinge was just an app." "That's different." Again, Different. Always different. Tears appeared in his eyes. Not sad tears. Angry tears. You did this to punish me. No. I spoke quietly. You punished yourself. I just wanted to have fun. And now you can... He frowned. What does that mean? It means we're done. Silence. Then confusion. Then panic. What? I'll give you 30 days to find another place. His entire body froze. My own place. Yes. You can't be serious. I am. The apartment belonged to me. His name wasn't on the lease. He paid me monthly. Legally. He was a month-to-month tenant. And for the first time since this entire mess started, he finally looked afraid. The next hour became chaos. He called Destiny, then Belle, then Jocelyn. Soon they were all screaming through speakerphone. She's kicking you out. That's illegal. Call the police. I sat quietly on the couch. None of them had actually asked what happened. None of them asked about the body shots. Because accountability had never been part of their friend group. Saturday morning. Ethan was still lying in bed when I left for coffee with Nathan. Before leaving, I placed a formal 30-day notice on the kitchen counter. Notarized. Signed. Completely legal. Coffee with Nathan lasted 3 hours. 3 peaceful hours. No accusation. No drama. No club stories. No manipulation. He was funny. Grounded. Easy to talk to. At one point he laughed. So let me understand this correctly. I smiled. This should be interesting. Your boyfriend thought grinding on strangers and body shots were harmless. But a coffee date was betrayal. The cognitive dissonance is impressive. Nathan laughed. My ex once said watching movies with female coworkers was emotional cheating. What did she do? She was secretly messaging fitness influencers. We both burst out laughing. By the end of lunch, we had already planned dinner for Wednesday. When I returned home, Ethan had papers spread all over the kitchen. Tenant rights, internet printouts, highlighted sections. You have to give me 60 days. That's for year-long leases. He stared at me. Where am I supposed to go? I shrugged gently. Destiny needs support. Remember? His expression darkened. Her place is tiny. Sounds cozy. Sunday morning brought a completely different version of Ethan. He woke up early, made my favorite breakfast, wore the sweater I once loved. When I walked into the kitchen, he smiled softly. Babe, we can fix this. I sat down. Can we? I'll stop going to clubs. I looked at him carefully. You shouldn't change yourself for me. His eyes widened. No. I want to. That sounds controlling. Vanessa. Please. What exactly are you sorry for? He hesitated. I should have included you more. I waited. Nothing else came. Not the dancing. Not the body shots. Not the insults. Not calling me controlling for 6 months. Just inclusion. That was when I understood. He still didn't get it. He thought the problem was logistics. Not disrespect. Not betrayal. Not double standards. I stood up. I'm glad you finally want to change. Hope appeared in his eyes. Then I smiled sadly. But I don't want this anymore. His face collapsed. And Wednesday, I picked up my purse. I still have dinner plans. For the first time since we'd met, Ethan looked at me like he truly understood he might lose me. Unfortunately for him, that realization had arrived far too late. Unfortunately, realizing he might lose me didn't suddenly transform Ethan into a different person. If anything, it made him worse. The 30-day notice became a countdown neither of us could ignore. I expected him to start apartment hunting. Instead, he acted like the breakup was temporary. He left his clothes everywhere, watched television like nothing had happened. Even asked me one evening what I wanted for dinner. It was surreal. As if he believed enough time would somehow reset everything. But the entitlement only grew. Monday morning, I discovered he had posted a long message on Facebook. According to Ethan, I was financially abusing him. Apparently, I was making him homeless because he liked spending time with friends. Conveniently absent from the story. The dancing. The body shots. The dating profiles, the months of calling me controlling. Within an hour, my phone started buzzing. Mutual friends, coworkers, people asking what happened. I stopped explaining. Instead, I sent the video. That one video ended almost every conversation. By Tuesday, even some of Ethan's own friends had stopped defending him. Wednesday night, I met Nathan for dinner. It was strange how peaceful everything felt. He listened when I spoke. He asked questions. He remembered little details. At one point he smiled and said, "You know, healthy relationships aren't supposed to feel like court trials." I laughed. Honestly, I forgot that. Meanwhile, back at home, Ethan had begun his own campaign. One night I walked into the apartment and froze. His mother, Gloria Mercer, was sitting on my couch. She gave me a disappointed look. "Vanessa, Ethan says you're throwing away 3 years over girls' nights." I calmly sat beside her. "Did he tell you about the body shots?" Her expression changed. "The what?" Without saying another word, I handed her my phone. She watched the video. Then, she slowly lowered the phone. "Ethan James Mercer." He immediately started panicking. "Mom, it wasn't." She raised her hand. "Don't." The disappointment on her face was almost painful to watch. Then something happened. I never expected. She turned toward me. "I'm sorry." I blinked. "What?" "I'm sorry for my son." Then she looked back at him. "And I'm helping you pack?" Ethan looked horrified. "Mom? No." She stood up. "You're 27 years old. Start acting like it." After she left, he barely spoke to me. For 2 days, the apartment was silent. Then Friday happened, and somehow things became even more ridiculous. While I was at work, Ethan decided to throw himself a farewell party. At my apartment, without asking, nearly 20 people, music, alcohol, Instagram stories. One of my neighbors sent me videos, people standing on my balcony, someone smoking inside. I stared at my phone in disbelief. Then I called the police. I never mentioned that I lived there. I simply reported excessive noise. By the time I arrived home, officers had already shut everything down. The apartment looked like a disaster. Bottles everywhere. Food on the floor. A burn mark on my coffee table. Someone had thrown up in my bathroom. I photographed everything, then texted Ethan, "You have 48 hours to clean everything." He exploded. "You're making a big deal out of nothing." "No," I answered. "Consequences are not drama." Saturday morning. Destiny, Belle and Jocelyn arrived to help him clean. All 3 looked annoyed. Not with Ethan, with me. Apparently, expecting adults to clean up after destroying property was unreasonable. I left them scrubbing floors while I spent the afternoon hiking with Nathan. Halfway through the trail, he mentioned something casually. "I found an apartment." "Really? 2 bedrooms. Available next month." I smiled. "Congratulations." He laughed. "You know what's funny? It's in the same complex where one of your ex's friends lives." The universe apparently had a sense of humor. As the final moving day approached, Ethan still refused to accept reality. On the last evening, he sat on the couch wearing one of my old hoodies. "I'm not leaving." I looked at him calmly. "Yes." "You are?" "No." For several seconds, we stared at each other. Then I quietly began packing his remaining boxes. That was when panic finally hit him. Real panic. Not anger. Fear. "Vanessa. Stop." I continued. "You can't do this. You said that 30 days ago." He started crying. Real tears this time. "I love you." For a second, I felt sadness. 3 years don't disappear overnight. But love without respect eventually becomes exhaustion. "I loved you too." Pestinza. He understood immediately. Destiny eventually arrived with her new boyfriend. Ironically, even he seemed embarrassed by the entire situation. Within hours, Ethan finally left. As his car disappeared, I felt something unexpected. Peace. Not victory. Not revenge. Peace. Over the next month, Everything around him slowly collapsed. The friend group imploded. Arguments, breakups, drama. Meanwhile, I stopped paying attention because I had finally escaped the chaos. A few weeks later, Ethan appeared at my door at nearly 11 at night. He was wearing the same outfit he used to wear to clubs. His eyes were red. "I miss you." I stayed inside the doorway. "We're talking right now. Can I come in?" "No. Please." I shook my head. He looked devastated. "You replaced me so fast." I smiled, sadly. "No. You replaced us long before I met Nathan." For 20 minutes, he stood outside. Eventually, he left. A final note appeared under my door. "You'll never find someone who loves you like I did." I sent one message back. "That's the point." Months later, I ran into Gloria at the grocery store. She hugged me immediately. "How's Nathan?" Before I could answer, I noticed Ethan several aisles away. He pretended not to see me. Gloria smiled mischievously. "You always deserved better." As for Nathan and me, we're good. Really good. He has this revolutionary idea that couples actually spend weekends together. He believes trust and boundaries can exist at the same time, and whenever either of us goes out with friends, the other simply says, "Have fun." No accusation. No manipulation. No double standards. Just respect. Funny how simple love becomes when both people are playing by the same rules.